Welcome to July 2022, everybody, which, if you do not know, is 1 year from July 2021, which, if you don't know, July 2021 is where we had the $1.5 million Mario 64 sale. It makes me angry just thinking about it. For all intents and purposes now, where we are, looking back, July 2021 was basically the absolute peak of the graded games market. All of the euphoria, the FOMO, the spending, it all just kind of came to a headway at that July 2021 signature auction. And sitting here now in July 2022, it kind of feels like suddenly prices just dropped. It seems like we got here now where we are very quickly. And it's kind of funny how that works, right? After that July signature, everything was booming, right? Everyone was feeling good. We went through August, September, we got to October. Somewhere in there, the Carl Jobs video did come out, which seemingly had no immediate effect on the market, albeit it probably did play a factor into where we are now. I think it would be disingenuous to say it simply had no effect, but I don't know how much effect it had. Then we entered into the October signature auction. It happened, and I remember there being chatter. It was just a little bit, right? Little comments of, oh, this game only sold for this much, or, oh, I thought that game was going to go higher. And the other thing that I started noticing at that time was that in Facebook groups and on Instagram, there was just less chatter overall. Daily posts were going down, engagement was going down. There was just less noise in general about the hobby. And then we went November, December, January, and you start seeing more data points of games selling, same grade, same game, selling for a lower price than last time. Same game, higher grade, selling for a lower price than it sold of the lower grade. All of a sudden, things that looked like noise are starting to become a trend, and the trend is showing a downturn. And of course, you can always point to outliers or examples of games that are still going up in price, right now in July 2022. But for the vast majority of stuff, and I do feel confident at this point saying the vast majority of stuff is going down. We are in a down market. The trend is downwards. And the reason that it might feel so sudden to you right now is, as I was saying, it takes a while for that trend to actually develop to the point where you go, oh shit, and you finally notice that the trend is downwards. So now here we are, July 2022. Let's talk about the current state of the market. It's actually been 3 months since I released my first video, Is the Graded Games Market Crashing? I didn't realize I released that back in March. And in that initial video I did, you can go through the comments where there's still people saying, like, I'm gonna be holding my games, you shouldn't sell now. Prices are going to go back up soon. It's only the not rare stuff that's going down. Lots of comments like that were still honestly pretty hopeful for the market, which in the long-term view, I am also hopeful for this market. I do believe in the future longevity, but that is simply not the reality right now, and it probably isn't going to be the short-term reality either. Short-term being the next 6 to 12 months. It's kind of funny because it's one of those things that once prices start coming off of the highs, everyone doesn't want to sell anymore, right? You miss the high, you don't want to sell anymore. I'll just hold and wait for the next wave up. So you wait and you hold for 3 months and then prices go even lower. So of course you're not going to sell now, right? And it's kind of a downward spiral. And when you look at stuff like stocks or cryptocurrency that literally go to zero and people hold all the way to zero, it kind of has to do with that escalation of commitment there where you didn't sell at this point, you didn't sell at this point, you didn't sell at this point. Well, you're probably just never going to sell then. You're just going to ride the thing to zero. Which is a great segue to my next point. Every graded game is going to zero. That is how this works. This market is dead. And that seems extreme to say out loud, right? And obviously I don't think that's what's going to happen. It's kind of impossible for that to happen. But it really seems like a lot of the buyers and sellers in that $100 to $1,000 range are really starting to think that. Of course, there are still tons of games out there that sell for $1,000 plus, $5,000 plus, $20,000 plus, $100,000 still, right? There's lots of games out there that'll easily clear $100,000 even in a downward market. And we're going to see that at the next Heritage Signature auction in August. There's going to be certain things that absolutely explode. It's basically two different markets. But most people watching this video, most people participating in this market aren't buying $100,000 games. They aren't buying $50,000 games. Most of you might not have and or be buying games over $5,000. Most of the action, most of the liquidity is going to be in that $100 to $2,500 range. And that is also where we see the most saturation taking place and where we also see that the market has basically lost all FOMO that existed. This is now a no FOMO market. No FOMO is allowed. If you have FOMO, get rid of it. It's not allowed in this market. And after going through the whole euphoric wave of 2019, 2020, and most of 2021, it's just crazy to see now how fast people have changed their perception once the money stops flowing. Just this week on eBay, I was bidding on a couple of graded games auctions. I think it was Grand Theft Auto 5 on Xbox 360 and 9.4A Plus, and Super Smash Bros. Wii U, a first print of the game, VGA 85 Plus. Both of the games had a starting bid of $99. Both of those games would have sold for $99 had I not bid. There were only 2 bidders in each of those auctions, literally me and one other person. It's just pretty crazy to see how many people left the hobby and how quickly it happened. We are definitely getting to a much more organic level of collectability here with less investing and less speculation taking place. But that bullish FOMO tendency in people now has swapped completely to fear or disinterest. The prevailing mentality right now in this market that I'm seeing is there's no reason to buy the game now because I can get it cheaper next week or cheaper next month, right? There's always going to be another copy. That seems to be what everyone is thinking right now. And in a lot of ways, depending on what you're looking at, you might not be wrong. In trading cards, if you're not searching after the rarest of the rarest stuff, people will often say there will always be another card available. And that's if it's a PSA 9, a PSA 10, again, unless you're chasing after the rarest type of stuff available. Right now, where I'm at least personally seeing a lot of the carnage is in the DVD style games, is in the games that sold millions and millions of copies, the best sellers on the consoles, where we're seeing that a lot of them were sent out for grading. Your Marios, your Zeldas, any other big name brand game. Now everyone has them back in their possession and they are flooding out to the market. And until all of these copies get sucked up into collections, get sucked up by investors, speculators, get taken off of the market, we're going to continue to see prices slide and it's going to remain a buyer's market. Now, does that mean you shouldn't sell, right? It's a buyer's market. Why the hell would I sell into this? I just ran open auctions on eBay last week. Yes, there were a couple games I sold there where I kind of wished it would have got maybe another $100, another couple $100. One of the guys I sold to even messaged me on Instagram and feels like he got a steal of a deal on the game he bought from me. That's just how it goes sometimes. The thing that I can never be sure of though is that in 3 to 6 months, what if the price of those games is even lower? Much like everything, it's just hedging your bets. I made the video about always be selling and it seemed like that actually resonated with some of you guys, but remember on the other side of that, you always do have to be buying as well. If you don't buy while prices are low, you'll never be able to sell when prices are higher. Now, of course, there's no guarantee that prices will ever go up again to what we saw with video games. It's totally possible that was an isolated scenario. We will never get back to those kind of peaks that we saw with pricing. It could happen. The historically safest place that you can go and throw your money at a time like this is in the S&P 500. In 10 years from now, 20 years from now, it's almost guaranteed you will make money. But that's boring, and that's why we're all here buying video games, sports cards, Pokemon cards, instead of just throwing our money into a boring index fund. Just know that things could get a lot worse before they get better, and that even when things get better, they may never be where we were. One last little anecdote for you guys before you go. On my Ocarina of Time here, this 8.5A, I paid $4,500 in November 2020 for this. At the peak of the market, I think that went up to anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000 Canadian, right? That's pretty crazy. That's huge. Twice the price I paid. Now, where we're at, I don't think I'd be able to sell this game and get back my $4,500. That is where we are at in this market. Just remember that prices coming down can be just as exciting as prices going up, because these are the times that you make your purchasing decisions that will make you money in the future. Be it stocks, crypto, games, trading cards, whatever the hell you believe in. You have to buy when prices are going down if you want to be able to sell when prices are going up. Thank you to every single Patreon who helps support the channel, as well as the Greg Gang. I can't do it without you guys. Hit the like button before you go, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye!